Hello everybody, welcome to my notes over the physical properties of minerals and how to test for them. It's very important that you fill out your notes correctly. You will need to know these things before your lab on Thursday or Friday. So let's begin, and here we go. So what you see right here is the Mohs hardness scale. When you have a mineral and you're not sure what it is, you can test it for how hard the mineral is by scratching it with different items. So the softest mineral that we know of is talc, and that has a hardness of 1, and talc can be scratched with just your fingernail. The hardest substance, the hardest mineral that we know of is a diamond, and you have to use a drill bit or something even harder to scratch that. Its hardness is 10. Diamonds are pretty tough to damage. So we use this scale when we're testing for the properties of minerals and different substances. So let's start with our first vocabulary word. The Mohs hardness scale is the first word that you're going to put in this blank. It is a scale that is used to measure the hardness of a mineral. That is the definition. Mohs hardness scale is your vocabulary word, and is a scale used to measure the hardness of a mineral. Obviously, we don't test for the Mohs hardness scale. This is a vocabulary word that we need to know, but there's no way to test for that. It's just a scale that was developed by smarter people than me a long time ago. So the first physical property that you can test for is streak, and that's going to go here on your notes. We're on this one now, the second one. Streak is a streak test, and it is the method used to determine the color of a mineral in a powdered form. What you would do is you would take your mineral and you would have a tile, preferably a black one and a white one. That way you can see the colors, and you will scratch it across the tile until a powdery residue is on the tile. Sometimes the surface of a mineral can look different than what it really is, as you saw in the previous video. So those notes go right here, and that's streak, all of that. Let's do the next one. The next physical property that you're going to test for is hardness. That's going to be our third row right here. Hardness. The definition is the ability of a mineral or a substance to be scratched by different objects. So things like talc are easy to scratch. Even gypsum is pretty easy to scratch. Obviously things like diamond, there's no way you can scratch that with your fingernail. You need something much tougher. So hardness is the ability of a mineral or a substance to be scratched by different objects. And the way that we would test for hardness is we're going to use the Mohs hardness scale, and we would use different objects to scratch the mineral or substance until it cannot be scratched. So you would kind of test it, and you would go down your list, and you would start with your fingernail, then you would use a copper coin like a penny, then you would use a knife. And if you can't scratch it with a knife, but you can scratch it with copper, you would know that the hardness of that mineral is about a 3, and that's where it would fall on the Mohs hardness scale. The last physical property that you would test for is color, and this is your last set of notes right here. Somehow my thing got messed up, so don't worry about that. Your notes will look like this. Each mineral or substance can have different colors. You test for color with your eyes. You cannot test for color any other way. It can only be observed. Color is not really a reliable test to determine what a mineral or substance is. When you have things like iron pyrite can look like gold. It's actually called fool's gold because people digging for gold in the ground can run across iron pyrite sometimes, and they think that they've struck gold, but they really haven't. And I'll show you a picture of pyrite. So this is pyrite right here. And see how pyrite looks? You think, oh my goodness, I found some gold. You did not find gold. It's not gold. And if you scratch this stuff against a tile, you would see that it underneath this gold-looking surface is actually gray and dull. So that's why color is not a reliable test. Color can only be observed. Okay, that's the end of your physical properties of minerals notes and how to test for them. Please make sure that you glue this into your journal and be aware of all these things. We will have a lab in a few days, and you will actually be testing minerals for their properties. Okay, the end. Bye.